Was really good. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with the Boxing Clinic. Told you I had a nice little video coming up, man. And when I go through the comments, man, I see a lot of people that's not buying what Bob Arum is selling, as far as wanting to match Crawford up with the PBC fighters. And you know, and I understand why people are skeptical about that. At the end of the day, it is a business. Him and Al Heyman did have a settlement when he sued Al Heyman. And they agreed, a part of the settlement, to work with each other and make fights to happen. And, you know, and people say, well, they did work together on Felix Diaz and John Molina versus Terence Crawford. I mean, yeah, it's easy to work together when you have the clear A side and you fighting C-level fighters, you know, C-side fighters, you know. It's easy to make those fights happen. You know, we talking about A-side fighter versus A-side fighter, you know, the big fights. And they have yet to deliver on a big fight with them two working together. You know, may it be Lomachenko versus, you know, I'm just giving a hypothetical, versus Leo Santa Cruz, or may it be, you know, Brian Jennings versus you know, a Deontay Wilder. You know, some, you know, amongst a mid-level, we even haven't got those, like a mid-level fight between Brian Jennings and Deontay Wilder, which has been a bad blood fight. We haven't even got mention of mid-level fights like that before, you see what I'm saying? And, you know, it's funny to see them jump from, you know, really not working together and seeing them, you know, making C-side fighters and A-side fighters, which Bob Arum clearly always had the A-side, you know, in that. And then in the past, it was more like a purse bid. You know, Lara versus Vander Martirosyan 1 was an Al Heyman versus the Bob Arum fighter at the time of Vander Martirosyan. And it went to purse bid. You know, Gary Russell, Al Heyman fighter versus Lomachenko. It went to purse bid. You know, Gary Russell, Al Heyman fighter. Lomachenko was a Bob Arum fighter. So I understand why people are skeptical when they hear Bob Arum say he wants to match Terence Crawford with the PBC fighters. And I understand where they're coming from, but in the business world, he has no other choice. You know, he doesn't have, not the only other welterweight he has in the top 15 that I know of is Constantine Pullman. I'm calling him Pullman. People got mad because I'm butchering his name. Hey, make me learn if you ain't, you know, if you foreign and I can't pronounce your name, make me learn your name. Do something. You know, Constantine Pullman, I don't know. He keep pulling out of fights. Constantine pull out a fight. That's his name. You know, pull out a fight. You know, if you mad I'm butchering each Russian guy's name, you act like that's your first cousin or your brother, your sister, your daddy, your mama. It is what it is. Maybe learn your name. But, you know, that's the only, you know, top 15 welterweight I think Bob Arum has that I'm aware of. And, you know, not a lot of PBC fighters are, I don't believe, ranked in the 147-pound WBO. You know, Bob Arum owns the WBO in some weight classes, and Oscar De La Hoya owns it in some weight classes as well. They split it between them. And that's their choice of belt, you know, for the most part. And but I believe he has no other choice, you know, in my opinion. I mean, Jesse Vargas went back to Al Heyman. I mean, you know, Timothy Bradley retired. I mean, Marquez retired. You know what I'm saying? And he only has options on Jeff Horn. So, you know, he really don't have a choice, you know. And, you know, he really don't care to promote black fighters the right way anyway. So what did he care to sacrifice Terence Crawford at the end of the day, who done fought at least 10 times under that top-ranked contract, which he would have had to re-up at some point, or about to be re-up with the contract. And he needs to keep Terence Crawford happy. And Crawford wasn't happy with the promotion for his unification bout with Julius Ndongo. He voiced his displeasure, and we talked about this on here, with the poor promotions. And they better keep him happy. Because, you know, guys like Floyd Mayweather and Richard Schaefer, who a lot of people don't think doing nothing in the sport of boxing, Ring Star Sports, has a lot of great young talent. I'm trying to tell you, a guy named Money Powell III, boy can fight. But shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation put me up on that. But if he wants to keep Terence Crawford and keep him happy, he makes these fights. You know, unless Crawford's telling behind doors that he don't want those fights, and I don't see that being in Crawford's character. Crawford wants these fights, you know. So Bob Arum's going to sit at the negotiation table with Al Heyman. But like I'm like the rest of y'all, I believe when I see it, you know. And will Al Heyman pay Crawford, you know, the right money to come on over? Will Bob Arum pay, you know, let's say Errol Spence the right money to come over and fight? I don't know. You know, until they sit down and talk and hash out a deal, you know, nothing is concrete. You know, both guys want to be compensated the right way. And when you crossing paths with promoters and you have two A-side fighters or two upper echelon fighters that believe that they're going to be the A-side, then money gets funny. You know, you heard, I talked about Mikey Garcia a couple months saying, why big fights don't happen. It's not the fact that the boxers don't want it to happen. It's the fact that the money, it ain't there. You know, most of the time the network doesn't want to pay 2 A-sides. They don't want to pay $2.5 million a piece, and that's why a lot of fights go to pay-per-view, because the television network fronts the main event. Then the promoter gets they slice off top from the main event money, and then pays the fighter, and then probably uses the rest of the main event money to pay for the undercard, which tends to be shitty most of the time, depending on the promoter you're talking about. So, you know, so that's why it's more financial than anything. It's not more of a want. Everything is financial. It's not more. That's not them sitting down and, you know, coexisting. It's financials. They can talk about the venue. They can talk about the glove size. I'm just talking crap. They can talk about what color trunks. They can talk about what day. But once you get to talking about money, people get to acting funny. We know this from everyday life. So when they get to talk about the money, that's where it's gonna fall apart at, if it falls apart. You know. But I would love to see him fight any of these guys. Danny Garcia. I would love to see Crawford fight Amir Khan at some point. You know, if Amir Khan can get back on track. If the Keith Thurman Earl Spence saga drags out. Because, you know, that Keith Thurman Earl Spence fight got to happen first before Terence Crawford get a shot at either one. Unless some injury happen, or Earl Spence or Keith Thurman says, you know, let's make that happen first. And I doubt Al lets that happen. You know, him and Danny Garcia got bad blood. I think Garcia beat him in the amateurs and Terence Crawford. Sean Porter said he was open to fighting him. But Amir Khan, if he gets back on track, that'd be a great fight in my opinion. Or the Danny Garcia fight for starters. But like on the rest of y'all, I see it when I believe it. Let me know what y'all think. We out.